After missing several months of action for various reasons, several WWE superstars are reportedly set to return to WWE programming imminently. We'll let you know of 5 names that could be on their way back to WWE TV very soon in this countdown video. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into, and today in this countdown video, we're going to be talking about names that could be set to return to WWE TV soon, specifically names that are already contracted to WWE. This isn't WWE signing names or ex-WWE names returning. They're going to be countdown videos for another time. Today, we're going to be talking about names that are already under contract and for whatever reason have been off WWE television for a while, but could be set to return to your television screens on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, PLE very, very soon. So let's get straight into the names that could be on their way back to WWE television. Let's begin with Big Bronson Reed. Now, Bronson Reed, of course, he suffered an injury at Survivor Series War Games last year. He was involved in the men's War Games match. He dove off the top of the War Games cage structure, and he had a severe ankle injury that led to him being on the shelf for quite some time. Now, we didn't know all of the details about it initially, but he did reveal back in January that he was not going to be part of the WWE Raw on Netflix debut on Monday, January 6th, and he was going to be out for the foreseeable future with an injury that actually was way more gruesome than had been reported elsewhere before. Reed actually took to X to share specific details of his injury at the time. He wrote, quote, "Let's clear up some things. Dirt sheets report ankle fracture or injury. I unfortunately smashed my talus bone completely in half. I had it surgically repaired with screws and fragments taken out. Also had some bone marrow taken from my hip and put into my foot. Now, this means I won't be at Raw Netflix premiere. Don't expect a Rumble surprise, and the biggest loss is no Mania. Please keep up with me on social media at this time. Understand I've had a serious injury, undergone serious surgery, and have serious implications from that. It's not merely a fracture." Now, he actually did seem quite annoyed by these flawed reports, and it was understandable at the time, suggesting he was going to be back in January, and that really was not going to be the case. Now, in an update on that, it had been reported actually just as soon as this month, March, because, of course, that update that he posted on social media was back in January. So about 2-3 months later, PW Insider reported that Reed was in Birmingham, Alabama, and he was going to get the latest prognosis and a timetable on an in-ring return. Now, whilst it's not been revealed what the outcome of that consultation was, original reports suggested he could return to the ring in May or June. Of course, WrestleMania 41 towards the end of April, definitely off the cards, but we're nearly towards the end of March now, heading into April, so Big Bronson Reed could be back on television as soon as May, so maybe about 6 weeks' time, maybe a couple of months' time. He could come back and maybe he'll pick up where he left off. That's in his feud with Seth Rollins, or possibly being affiliated with the new version of the Bloodline. He was at Survivor Series in War Games that time then. Maybe he goes after CM Punk. I mean, he was the one that pulled Roman Reigns off the table when Bronson Reed went for a tsunami off the top of the cage structure. So Big Bronson Reed expected to be back around May, possibly sooner. You never know. It's pro wrestling after all. Anything certainly is possible. And we'll see what happens when it comes to the former WWE NXT North American champion. Another name that is expected back imminently and actually sooner than Big Bronson Reed, keeping with Monday Night Raw superstars, is Tyler Bate. Now, last summer, there was a report that Tyler Bate had suffered a torn pectoral muscle and tendon injury. Now, he actually suffered this during a match on WWE NXT and subsequently disappeared from WWE television. Now, he's been sidelined, as I mentioned, since last summer, the summer of 2024, following a match with Pete Dunne. He underwent surgery, and after undergoing surgery, he has been rehabilitating, and he actually was medically cleared to return to in-ring competition for WWE back in February. So at the time of recording this video, if you're watching this after the fact, we're nearly towards April, actually at the end of March now. So he has been cleared to compete for a number of weeks, actually months at this point. Now, PW Insider recently confirmed that Bate will rejoin the Monday Night Raw brand, the same brand that he was on prior to his injury, though WWE's plans for him remain pretty unclear as of this time right now, whether or not he's going to be teaming back up with Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne has subsequently turned heel, so whether or not he'll still be involved in the tag team with him, we'll wait and see. Whether he's going to be feuding with him, we'll wait and see. Maybe WWE might wait until the draft post-WrestleMania for him to come back. Sometimes they do like to save these kind kind of returns from injury until after WrestleMania if there are no plans for Tyler Bate in the build-up to WrestleMania, which as of right now, about a month out from the grandest stage in the world, there doesn't really seem like that is the case. But once again, anything certainly is possible. Certainly when it comes to SmackDown, it's a 3-hour show that needs bodies and needs time to fill. But according to recent reporting, Tyler Bate is scheduled to be on Monday Night Raw. So we'll wait and see if we see the former NXT UK champion appear once again on the red brand. But he has already been medically cleared. So of all the names on the list that we're going to talk about today, he actually might be one name that could return sooner rather than later, and this could be any day now that we see the British superstar back on your WWE television screen. Now, JD McDonagh could be on his way back to WWE television soon, and he suffered a really scary injury, didn't he, on Monday Night Raw earlier this year. A bit of an update has come from JD McDonagh himself about this, and it does pave the way that McDonagh could be on his way back to WWE television fairly soon. The former World Tag Team Champion suffered a really scary injury on Monday Night Raw. Now, an update came this month in March that actually just a month and a half had passed, about 6 weeks at the time, since WWE's JD McDonagh had fans really concerned and frightened after a springboard moonsault to the outside during a match between him and Finn Balor against the War Raiders saw him at the back of his head on the announcer's table. Now, this is the brand new announcer's table on Monday Night Raw, where it's a bit reinforced, it's a bit bulkier, and if it's not meant to break, it doesn't break. Now, though McDonagh escaped without a concussion, a trip to the hospital revealed the spot had left him with several other very serious injuries, including broken ribs and a punctured lung, which McDonagh later confirmed would keep him out of action for a bit. He's still been referenced on WWE storylines. Of course, Dominic Mysterio's constantly been teasing new members of the Judgment Day ever since McDonagh got hurt, going as far as saying we should get Penta in or referring to someone else. Now, he did do an interview with Chris Van Vliet on Insight. He gave an update on his condition a few weeks ago now at the time recording this video. He revealed that he's progressing well, though he stopped short of saying he'd be returning to the ring just yet. He said, quote, "Time heals all. It wasn't like this the first week or two after, but I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm feeling pretty good. My lungs are good. My ribs are good. I'm just kind of waiting for the bones to knit back together before they clear me." McDonagh also discussed the moonsault spot, indicating that the layout of the match required him to attempt the moonsault closer to the announcer's table as opposed to another part of the ringside area. He said, quote, "I needed to be on that side of the ring for something that I was going to come up later on," McDonagh said, "so I'll just do it on the announce table side. I've done it on that side before, but whatever happened on this one, I was just maybe a foot too far forward or a foot too far back and wiped out." But as he mentions there, time is healing all. This was a few weeks ago. He did mention that his lungs are good, his ribs are good. He's waiting for everything to knit back together, which sometimes can be a slow process, sometimes can be a fast process. Of course, as I mentioned, the Judgment Day in his absence has been continuing, and there have been rumors, or there have been certainly teases on WTV, haven't there, of dissension within the ranks, particularly when it comes to Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor. And you feel like another fraction and fracturing of the Judgment Day faction is going to happen very soon. Last year, of course, we saw the departure of Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest from the faction when they were both turned on by Dominic Mysterio and also Finn Balor, respectively. This led to the likes of Carlito, Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan being added to the group, and maybe Finn Balor could be the next name that's kicked out. And if Finn Balor is kicked out of the faction, maybe JD McDonagh is the one to kick him out, or maybe JD McDonagh returns to actually help back up his former World Tag Team Champion partner. So you do feel like with that storyline that's ongoing, that could culminate possibly at WrestleMania, or certainly as we get closer to WrestleMania, then JD McDonagh will be heavily involved in either the kicking out of Finn Balor or the ramifications, the fallout of Finn Balor leaving the Judgment Day in the future. So with McDonagh healing, and healing hopefully fairly quickly, he could be back on WWE TV fairly quickly also. Let's go to Ilja Dragunov. Now, talk about powers of recovery when it comes to Ilja Dragunov, because the fact that we're talking about Dragunov potentially appearing back on WWE television this soon after suffering a serious ACL injury is pretty wild stuff. Now, Ilja Dragunov tore his ACL in September during a WWE live event. Now, with an injury like that, it typically keeps a wrestler on the shelf for anywhere between 6 and 9 months. Dragunov's injury, and when an initial reporting came out, which was in January, only 4 months into the injury and the injury recovery, according to Fightful Select, he was spotted inside the WWE Performance Center at the end of the first month of the year, and he was wearing workout gear. Now, the report noted it wasn't clear if Dragunov was working out in the ring or simply having his recovery process evaluated. There have been subsequent reports suggesting that he has been at the WPC, has been working out in the ring, and several sources and outlets have reported that they've spotted the former NXT champion working out at the PC in workout gear, not necessarily wrestling gear. Now, it was believed that maybe he was undergoing standard training, or it was then believed that maybe that's changed. Now, the knee injury, it took place against his rival, current World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Of course, their rivalry dates back more than a decade to their time on the German independent scene, WXW, where Gunther was still known as Walter. They've persisted as enemies throughout their time in WWE NXT UK, into NXT in the US, now onto the main roster. Just a few months prior to his torn ACL, Dragunov went from being WWE NXT champion to receiving a Raw call-up. After joining the main roster, Dragunov had a series of matches against opponents like Sami Zayn, Bron Breakker, Jey Uso, and more, before going down to this injury in September. Now, unless Dragunov is progressing way ahead of schedule, I don't think we should necessarily expect a return probably before WrestleMania, but it does feel like, doesn't it, that he could be a name that appears right after WrestleMania, which again is only a month's time, and that would be an absolutely remarkable recovery. And we'll see what could happen, because he could reunite a feud possibly with Gunther. We know Gunther is obviously defending the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania against Jey Uso in a match that quite a few people expect Gunther to drop the World Heavyweight Championship to Uso, with Uso winning his first world title in WWE. Maybe Dragunov is going to be Gunther's first post-WrestleMania feud, or maybe that will happen maybe a couple of months after WrestleMania. Either way, Dragunov is expected, according to all of these reports, to appear back on WWE television sooner rather than later, and possibly way ahead of schedule for a serious injury like a torn ACL. Just a truly remarkable feat of recovery by the former NXT champion. And finally, this one could be happening in a matter of days or weeks, and that is Uncle Howdy. Many people have been a bit concerned about the Wyatt Six, haven't they, over the course of the last few months, because they've just vanished. They've just vanished from WWE TV. Now, the shocking debut of the Wyatt Six on WWE television last year, it left a major impression on fans, didn't it? That ending of Monday Night Raw, when they all appeared after months and months of teasers post-WrestleMania, was very interesting to see. Now, they were transferred over to SmackDown last year, and they haven't even, or beginning of this year, and they haven't even been seen yet, and they haven't even appeared on the blue brand, and it led to many to wonder just what was in store for the future of the faction. Now, there had been reports coming up earlier this year that Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, Taylor Rotunda, whatever you want to call him, had an injury. It was an undisclosed injury. We didn't know what it was. Now, recently, a new report from Fightful Select has indicated there could be some movement on a potential return, not only for Uncle Howdy, but also for the Wyatt Six. Sean Ross Sapp is the latest to report that Uncle Howdy, also known as Bo Dallas, has been cleared by WWE doctors to make an in-ring return following an undisclosed injury. His absence actually in turn led to the group being off television, but Sapp says his clearance has allowed for creative plans to at least be discussed for the Wyatt Six moving forward. Now, he also noted at the time he hadn't heard of any imminent plans for the faction, but of course Alexa Bliss, she made her return in the Women's Royal Rumble match back in February, paying homage to Bray Wyatt. She's been widely expected to be integrated into the Wyatt Six group at some point. She even cryptically commented on her recent absence this week, and many people think that it's no coincidence that Alexa Bliss has been absent whilst the Wyatt Six have also been absent. So the fact that, with Bliss and getting her involved in WrestleMania, possibly that's the way to get the Wyatt Six involved in WrestleMania as well. So this certainly could be someone that appears back on WWE television sooner rather than later, possibly even before WrestleMania, and we see somehow Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six and Alexa Bliss be involved in WrestleMania weekend festivities. What that will be, if there'll be a match. Of course, at one point it was teased that they were going to have a further feud with the Final Testament and the Wyatt Six. Maybe that's not the case now, with the releases of AOP and Paul Ellering and Karrion Kross largely being sort of focused as a singles star now. So we'll have to wait and see if there's going to be any more faction warfare in WWE with the Wyatt Six and other factions. But one thing we can confirm is that Uncle Howdy reportedly and the Wyatt Six are on their way back to WWE television, possibly even before WrestleMania. So there you go, guys. That's 5 names, 5 superstars that could be returning to WWE television imminently, shortly, or in the very near future. What are your thoughts on those 5? Which 5 out of the 5 are you looking forward to the most? Which ones are you not looking forward to the most? Which one do you think is going to return the latest out of all of those names? Let me know your thoughts, your reaction, your opinions, your hot takes in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, you can join the WN365 roster. All you have to do is click the join button. Links also in the video description. You get members exclusive only perks that you can only get by being a member of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members only content. We've got the match rewatch series. In addition to that, we've got gaming, retro games, current games, old WWF games, WCW games, TNA games. They're all coming exclusive for members of the WN365 roster, so be sure to get involved in that as well. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in for this countdown video, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.